Hello shape enthusiasts, and welcome back to another episode of our insane factory shapes 2 playthrough with the dimension update. As you can see, we've just finished off 2 bits of Milestone 4. Last episode, they threw a little bit of a curveball at us. Instead of having one final milestone shape like all of the before and after ones of this, we have 2 milestone shapes to deliver at the same time. These shapes have very little to do with these shapes. Well, they kind of do, but it's transformed enough that what we've made here doesn't help us. What that means is we're just going to simply delete everything over here. We're going to delete everything over here as well. We're going to go down one level and just delete everything that we've done over here, and we're just going to start anew. Get rid of this nonsense. So I've done a little maths on these 2 shapes, so I have a good approach for it. So we're going to create a little mini staging area for these shapes, and we're going to do it very cleanly. So I'm going to drag a belt out here, drag a belt out here, and drag another belt out this way with just one gap in between. And you'll see why that is. These are all the shapes that we need to make our final shape. I did some calculations. I think it is anyway. We'll have to find out. And we're going to do all our processing here in some sort of organized pattern. So to make this top shape, we can see we can process the first 3 layers kind of together. You think you'd want to checkerboard this middle layer, but in fact you can see these first 3 layers is made out of just a circle and a windmill that's been split into diagonals. So for example, what we can do here is just split those into diagonals. Let's get our full to 2 diagonals out. We'll put 1 here, and then we'll give some space, maybe 2 tiles in between the start of each factory. We want a circle belt coming out of here. We'll take it down and then we'll bring it up and in. Then we want our emeralds, so we'll grab our emeralds. That doesn't need to jump, it can go straight in. And now we have all our shapes. So if we look at this thing, we might actually want to move this 1 more tile out. Just thinking ahead for the painting section. Because if we look at this shape now, we want to paint one of the circles green and one of the emeralds green, and by green I mean cyan, and one of the emeralds white and one of the circle bits white, or we can paint this shape after we piece it together. So why don't we piece that shape together first? I can see my emeralds is in the right direction. I keep calling these emeralds, I gotta stop calling them emeralds, they're windmills. So I gotta get my windmills in the right direction, then I gotta get my circles in the other direction. So to do that, we will put together any rotation on here. Then we'll simply put a stacker on this side. And if we belt that in like that, that should stack that together into the shape that we want. And that will be ready for painting white. I really should put my painter with the inputs from the top. And that wouldn't even be hard to modify, to be honest. I mean, it's a little bit janky. Okay, I lied. It will be very hard to modify because we want the input of the shapes coming from the top. Would it be hard to modify? You know what? Let's do it. This is a suggestion from one of my viewers, right? And it's a great suggestion. So where are these shapes coming from? One needs to go into here. Where is this shape coming from? It's splitting in like this and then jumping. But that's fine, we can just put that one there, right? That would do the same thing, we would just need to loop it around this way. And that's 1 replaced. Then we can replace this one. But then this doesn't have enough space over here to let 4 inputs out. Okay, maybe it'll be a bigger job than I think. But this painting array is the same thing that I designed from the start, so maybe we can do that a little bit better now. I think we can do this a little bit better, surely. What do you guys think? Let's just do it, because why not? There's not much to do in this series anyway. Like, once we finish these milestone shapes, then we're just doing tasks anyway. We might as well do some blueprint design. What do you guys reckon? So if we grab ourselves a new 2x1 and then we take a stack of painters, maybe we can design this a little bit better. Maybe we can just have all of the painters in like this. Realistically, we only need 4 sets of painters, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now the inputs of this is a little bit weird because it goes in like this, and then it goes out like that, and then it goes in like this, and then it goes out like that, it goes in like this, goes out like that, etc. Is this a clever way of doing it, or is this just silly? I want to try it with a completely different input. I mean, this one makes the liquid pretty much free, right? Because you just put one pipe through this and it just goes through all the painters. But then the inputs for the 4 are here and here, which is a little bit silly. Or is it silly? Each painter can handle, oh god, I got it on a weird number at the moment. But I think each belt needs to go through 4 painters. So we need to link a pair of belts up. Let's do all the inputs first. Is there a reason why we do our painters back to back like this? Like, what if I just did, right, because you need it to go out as well. So you would normally do your painting like this. I wonder if this is just easier, because then you would just have a row of input like that, and then another row of output. Okay. You're gonna have to use jumpers either way. So let's get all the input in first. There's all the inputs, and each pair of these inputs needs to sort of link up. So if we go, one input is there, one input is there, we need to give some space for the output to jump over the inputs at some point. So there's one input, there's one input, there's one input, and there's another input, right? These are our 4 inputs. And they can come from the top however it wants. Now we've got our 4 outputs to deal with. So 1, 2, 3, output here. And well, these 2 outputs can sort of be together. These outputs are together, there, and then there's like 2 more outputs over here. We can link these because the paint only needs to come in one way. So if we just simply hop all the outputs over this pair of belts, then life just becomes super easy, does it not? So if we just did that and put that on every single output, we just need to make sure like which pairs sort of go together like that. So this is a singular one, that's a singular one. That one's a little bit weird and awkward. Maybe this one can go around to this side as like a special case. So if we jump that over to say here, then this becomes one input pair, and that's one output, right? These are 4. These 2 can be 4, these 2 can be 4, and then one of these can join with this one and then just go out. I swear I can probably fit this onto a singular platform if I really wanted to, but we're not going to do that in this series. Is this thing even centered? I can't center this because it's 3 tiles wide, so it'll be offset on one side, that's fine. So let's get the outputs going first. We'll get this one going this way, and then it might have to do a hop because this can't really be cleaned up anymore. Well, I could do this, clean things up where we can clean things up. So if we did an input like that, that one can just go here. Well, we want that one to go on the outside. This one, on the other hand, can go one further back, then this doesn't need to turn. This one can go all the way in and out. Then this one can join with this one, and that will make one full belt. Over on this side, we've got plenty of space, so we don't need to do any shenanigans. We can just bring this one over this side. We'll bring this one out the side and around like that. Now on this one, we can follow that same path and then just go out and around like that. That gets all our outputs out. Do we like that? Yeah, it looks fine. Now we just need to get our inputs out. That's not right. Something's wrong. 1, 2, this one needs to link. So that's 1, 2 mixed with a pair. Sure. So that should work. Now our inputs should be super easy in theory. Oh, that's just one out. That's annoying. But what we can do, now that we have variable jumpers, is we can jump here again. Then, oh god, the variable jumpers are annoying to use. So So we can do like a double jump like this. Wait, that's not right. So jump, and then we jump again here, and then we receive here and here. So that one will jump to there, then that one will jump over there. That clears all our input belts. So now we can input like this, like that, there, and there. It's a little bit not symmetrical, but I'm okay with that. Don't forget our liquid pipe. So our liquid pipe comes in one of the two sides. Like that. There's our liquid input. And now we can hop this liquid. Oh, but then if you use a fluid launcher, we need to clear this belt. That's fine. So we can give this part a hop. And a land. Clearing out this middle section. And we'll do the same thing over here. Clear out this section. And then we'll just get that pipe in. This pipe should carry everything we need it to carry to paint everything. So there's our new blueprint. It's so much cleaner than our old painting blueprint. We just need to test whether it works or not. So let's go anywhere with a color and a shape. This will do. So if we put our color in here, oh sorry, our shape in the back, and just pick any color and just bring it up. We flip it, and then our color goes in. We can make this blueprint even better if we just simply copy this and clear it and put the input on both sides, then we never have to flip the painter. Wouldn't that be cool? But first, let's just test the bin. Gonna let this run for a bit. If you're enjoying the video and you want to support Data Engineer Plays, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any feedback or suggestions, feel free to share them in the comment section. We can very easily see we have full saturation of our painted objects on all 3 levels. That's fantastic. So that painter is working. I might make that modification. So we'll copy this, give that a flip, chuck that there. We'll copy that. That should just go here, and we'll get a short one going here. So we'll hop there, and then we'll land right here, I believe is fine, because it goes into this one and this one, right? So that should still work. Let's chuck the paint in to join. So this should be still perfectly fine. It's going to delete the stuff on the 2nd and 3rd level and just copy the whole thing over to avoid making any silly mistakes. So we'll copy that up, go up a level, and that should all still work, hopefully. Let's chuck a bin on and test it out again. Just in case these belt hops I've done over here have changed anything weird. But that definitely looks like full saturation to me, so this is still working. And a thorough engineer always thoroughly tests, so we'll bring this out to the other side and plug that in too. And now when the white paint comes from this side, theoretically it should be able to paint this exactly the same. I have thorough faith this is working, so I'm going to save this blueprint. And we're going to save it over our blueprint redesign series. We'll save it as our painter in the blueprint redesign series. There we go. So that's our new painter now. That's fantastic. All right, good. All of that was to say that we can go over here and we can paint a lot easier now. So now our painter just goes in like this on the end of stuff, which just makes life so much easier. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to paint this shape white to make this 2nd layer. So to get white paint, we need to get our paint belts in the back there. So we go downstairs and then we bring it up and across. There's our white. Go down. Oh wait, we should probably put the cyan there and the magenta. So we'll bring all the colors over, bring that up, go out, bring this up, go out. Similarly, bring this out, go up. And there's all the colors that we need. So the white is in the back. We need to bring the white into one of these. So we'll just bring it along this row over here. We'll go down all the way, and then we'll hop up over here, and that should paint the white. Now, we need to paint both these ones a cyan, and we're going to need 2 belts of paint for that. There's no real way about that. So now we can shove painters here, and we can shove painters here, and we can bring a couple of cyan belts, just like this, and up. One over this side, down and up. I know I brought that one up a little bit weird. We'll be consistent. As all good data engineers are, consistency is key. So that should get us the first 3 layers of that shape. All we need to do is stack them together. So we can do our stacking process a little bit separated, I want to say. So what I'll do is I will take a stacker and I will put it here. So this is the bottommost layer. We want it to be diagonal the other way, so I'll give it a rotation. Then we just want to put that there and that there. I kind of want to put it a little bit more separated, just to give myself a visual thing of this is making the final layers bit. Now, once that comes out, we want to stack it again with this one. So we'll bring that over like that, and this one will just go in like that. And that's our first 3 layers done. Great. Now we can work on the next layer, which is a checkerboarded windmill and square. So we can get our checkerboarder out over here somewhere, and then we can bring our windmills and we can bring our squares. Just like that. That will get our checkerboarded windmill and squares. Unfortunately, we don't need both, so I can bin one side. And to the other side, I want to paint. So I'll grab my painter out again. Then I'll chuck it in there. With my painter, I basically want to paint it magenta. So we can just very simply pull a magenta belt, bring it down, bring it up, and that should get our 3rd layer. Our 3rd layer then needs to go down, merge with this, and this goes and does that. And now we've merged, sorry, our 4th layer. Our final layer is this white half circle, and you'll notice in here, our very top layer needs a white half circle. So we're going to do that together over here just to save a belt of white. So we need our full to 2 diagonals again. So we'll chuck that over here somewhere. We'll grab our circles into it. And that'll get us 2 belts of full to 2 diagonals. They all need to be white, so why don't we paint it first? Grab our painter and then we'll get it in. That way we can just paint once and it'll all be nice and easy. And that'll get our diagonals out. Our diagonals is the wrong way, so I'm going to grab a rotator, rotate it 90 degrees. Then we're going to stack it once more. Bring it in like that, bring it in like that, and this thing should be our very final shape. We'll let that do its thing and catch up for a second. What is slowing this down? I think it's just saturating the belt, that's fine. We can start working on this shape now. This shape is also a little bit strange. So if you notice on the bottom layer, it's just a quarter of a square, and then we've got a diagonal square over here. So if we full to 2 diagonals a white square, then we can take, well, we can half destroy that and then get the quarter and then leave the diagonal square for later. So we're going to go over here and chuck another thing down. We're going to bring it over and we're going to bring the square. And then we need to bring another belt of white paint. So we'll bring that like this, same way we've done before. Bring it into the painter. And now these will be 2 diagonal squares, of which I can half destroy one of them. And we'll leave the other one to merge with this. This is a little bit of a special case because we're building the top layer right here. So the top layer, the squares are going to be in the wrong orientation. The diagonal circles will be in the... No, wait, the squares will be in the wrong orientation. And wait, is this in the wrong orientation too? No, the circles are in the correct orientation and the squares need to be rotated. So we'll put a rotator here. We will put a stacker here. And then we will belt this in like that, and that should get us our top layer first. So we can just work backwards now from the top layer down if we wanted to, but then this square, if we half destroy, is actually our bottom layer. So yeah. And then we're going to need a white emerald, which is not used anywhere else. The middle 2 layers are simple, but this quarter emerald we can't get from anywhere else. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to grab another belt of white and just get a quarter emerald. So we'll go with our quarter destroyer somewhere over here, grab our emeralds. I didn't do the hop thing. Go down, up and over, grab our quarter emerald. And then we will just simply, I think we've used up all our emeralds, but we'll sort out the belt soon because we've got another belt of emeralds to tack on at some point. So we'll get our quarter emeralds and we will simply paint them white. Like that. Go down, across and up. And there's our quarter emerald and there's our quarter square. We got to put both of those into the right orientation. Our square needs to go clockwise 90. Our emerald is going to come out at the bottom right, so it needs to go counterclockwise 90. Like that. And then we can just stack those two on top of each other. So since this is making a partial layer, I'm going to just do it here. And we're just going to bring it in like this. And in theory, that should make our very bottom layer of this shape. Now we can make these next layers sort of together. So if we notice that the second and fourth layer are just two diagonals of a windmill and the middle one is just a magenta windmill. So we're going to need way more windmills. Bring a windmill over here. We got to paint the windmills first and then full to two diagonal it. So it's basically this thing. Put that there. We'll get our magenta paint. No, we'll get our cyan paint first. Bring that down. There we go. That should be our first full to two diagonal emerald once I link the emerald on. Now the emerald diagonal will go this way, so we need to turn it 90 degrees. Now we can go to our stacking area, which is here, and we can tell it that this is on top and this is on the bottom. And that should get us our first two layers. Oops, wrong shape. Our first two layers, which is that and that. The square emerald and the emerald emerald. Now next layer is this thing. So we're going to just paint it magenta. Give it a little bit of space for belt shenanigans. And then we will just bring the magenta belt over. Bring it down, across, and back up. Get that painted magenta. And that should just be that layer. So we can just simply stack it, line it up. That goes straight into the stacker, and that goes around the side like that. And that will get us our first three layers, I believe. Our next layer is just the other bit of the emerald, which is over here. And it should be orientated correctly this way. So we just need to stack it on as our third layer. And this one's going to be a little bit weird. So I'm going to give some space for this. And we're just going to bring this across, down, and up as the top layer. And this will go in the same way as it has been done a few times in the past. And that will get us all those layers. Now, didn't we earlier make our top layer already? Which is just this. So now that top layer can just once again stack as that. So we'll give it a little bit of space, do that. Bring the top layer in, go under, and back up. And that should be our final shape. Now, we need to see if we're using up all our belts correctly. So over here are our circles. So our circles are coming from here. And we can see we indeed have 2 squares and 3 circles. In our factory, we can see we're pulling off the circle belt twice. So we've got more than enough circles. We had 2 squares. We're pulling off the squares twice. So we should have enough squares. Emeralds are going to be the problem. So let's get rid of this first. We've got 2 emeralds over here. They're getting pulled here and here. And then we're pulling 3 emeralds over here. So technically this emerald belt no longer exists. We need to replace it with this emerald belt, which has the 3 emeralds on it at some point in our lives. So we're going to bring that over. And then we're going to bring that down. And we should be able to just pop that back up, tack it on. And now we should have our 3 other emeralds feeding the rest of these belts, of which we're pulling it off 1, 2, and 3. Next, we're going to make sure our colors are working. So we're pulling the cyan 1, 2, 3 times. And over here in our cyan factory, we're making 4 belts of cyan. Over here on the white, we're pulling the white 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And we're only making 2 belts of white. So let's remedy that. So we need to put a color mixer onto this side, which is also making the cyan. And we can just connect that in. And to make the white, we need to pull another belt of red. So basically what's happening is the blue and the green are making 2 belts of cyan. Cyan's going into that one, mixing with red to make white. Cyan's going into this one, mixing with more red to make white. Do we have 3 belts of red? Over here, we only have 2, so we can add a third. Make sure this factory is running at maximum efficiency. Next color is the magenta. We're pulling once, twice. Do we have 2 belts of magenta? We do. So that's it. We've got 4 whites, 2 magentas, and 3 cyans, and that is making our factory. And we've got our final shape here and our final shape here. Are these the correct final shapes? Let's double check. That shape looks very weird. I feel like the crisscross thing is the wrong orientation. This thing is the wrong orientation. That's a very easy remedy. We'll just go here and we will turn that 90 degrees. Now this sort of setup doesn't mean I'll definitely do everything correct the first time. What it does mean is that it's very, very easy to troubleshoot. I'm just going to put some bins in so we can flush out any incorrect shapes as I go. So now that should be correct. I think every other layer on there is correct. Let's go check on this one. This one is looking like it's correct. Yes, that looks very much like this shape. I'm going to assume it's correct. Now we've got to do delivery. So we've had our thing over here. Let me just remove this part. We'll just take the part that we need. And we want them to reasonably flow evenly. I guess it doesn't matter once it saturates. But we'll do something like that. So we'll bring that one in there. That one in there. And there is our factory, all done. Milestone 4A. We don't need to call this Milestone 4A anymore. We can just call this Milestone 4. This track needs to link though. So let's get that track linked back up. And I don't think we have to do anything at home for this. It will just sort of do its thing, right? Hopefully. So we'll leave that to do its thing for a while. We'll observe if these two are going. And if they are, then we're all happy. Let's get some operator levels. In the meantime, we've got 48 points. What should we research? I reckon we max out our train speed and we get another train capacity going. Oh, I've used up all my operator points. I shouldn't have done that in case I need some. Great. On to tasks now while this factory whirs up. Now our tasks tells us that I think both of these are now completed. So we can move on to brand new tasks. We're going to go getting the robot. All right. It looks like a pretty straightforward task. So let's just pin that. And we're going to set up our staging areas very similar to this. We like this, right? Because it looks very organized and it's very easy to troubleshoot rather than the shenanigans I normally do. So let's head over to staging 1 and we're going to get this working the same way. I'm going to cut everything. We'll move this train station out of the way somewhere. We'll cut all of these belts and we will sort that out in a second. Where should we do this? We'll go towards our home. So I reckon we just start from here. Arbitrary, doesn't really matter. Bring that up. Go across. Bring that down. Go across. Bring that one out, go across, and there's our 4 shaped belts. Our color belts can go just behind that. Something like this. Here's our first color, second color, and third color. Done. So this is our staging area now. So we can use this staging area to start building this shape to test if everything works. So the bottom layer of this shape is simply half a star. Looking at our task, do we need the other half of that star at any point? Probably not. So we'll do a half destroy. We'll bring the star in. Chuck a painter on there. And then we'll bring some red. Just like that. There's our half star. Now it should half destroy on the left. Yep, and our star needs to be at the top. So we'll give it a counterclockwise rotation. Get that shape in the right spot. Next, it's a half blue thing. So we can use our cutting 1 to 2. Wait, why did I bring red over? Am I crazy? We'll bring the color in a second. So if I bring my cutting 1 to 2 over here with a little bit of space and we grab our emeralds and shove that in, then one side needs to be painted blue. So we can get our painter over here like this and we can belt that into the painter. Now we want blue on both of these, so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by bringing the blue up like this, and we'll bring it up here. And then we'll split it here and we split it here. Remember, it doesn't matter where you split the belt. You just got to remember this is now pulling 2 belts of blue. Then the other half is here. So we need to probably rotate one of these. This one is blue and it needs to go to the top. So that's a counterclockwise rotation. Therefore, this one should theoretically be a clockwise rotation. Now we just need to piece everything back together. Let's piece these 2 things back together right here. Grab our stacker. Just like that. That should be our second level. Now the layer piecing together will go separately down here somewhere. That's our top layer. That's our bottom layer. So that should get us what we need. Flush that. Flush that. Get rid of that red stuff that I accidentally made. Don't know why I saw red. But this should be the shape that we want. And we want our thing somewhere centered later on for when we have our 4 layers. Generally, we finish our 4th layer like around here somewhere, right? So if we just put a belt here, that should be all good. I'm just gonna clean up this belt, this rail I mean. Delete all that. And we'll draw ourselves a new rail over here. Fantastic. Off the trains go. Is this making our correct shape now? We can't tell. This is the wrong way around. Oh no, I flipped these the wrong way around. That's gone to the bottom. If we swap the rotation on these, then that should get us the correct shape, right? Yep, that's going to the bottom. And that's going to the top. Fantastic. Our stars are at the top. Our stacking should be okay. So theoretically, that should be the correct shape eventually. The train system is perfectly fine. I'm a little bit worried why my Milestone 4 hasn't kicked off at all yet. So let's just make sure these are indeed the right shape. That one's so super flat in the train station, I can't tell. But that's looking like the right shape to me. And that's looking like the right shape to me. Ah, there we go. Just dropped off a little bit. Let's go back to our home and see if there's any issue with the unloading. Doesn't seem like there's an issue with the unloading. This is still unloading the old shape. Hasn't been rotated yet. But now it's rotated. So it's just going to take a while for it to flush. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. Let's head over to staging 2 and give it the same treatment. Staging 2 is super messy, so let's start deleting some stuff. One, two, three. Where's my 4th belt of stuff? Over here. Okay, cool. The train station is over here. Let's get that gone. Get rid of this rail, and I might just belt all my stuff this way. Yeah, makes sense, I think. Just grab an arbitrary belt this way. Arbitrary belt this way. Get our next one going here. And our final one going here. There's our 4 belts of shapes, and then we can do something similar with the colors. I probably should have deleted everything on the bottom row too. We'll get our red going this way. And then our blue and our green can we move it a little bit, or it doesn't really matter where we start it up, does it? Go this way. Go this way. There's all our colors and shapes. Just give that a copy, make that a little bit longer. So we have room to work. And let's work on our next task, which is this shape. The bottom of this shape is very simple. It's just a red emerald diagonal. So we'll start with our full to 2 diagonals just over here. We'll grab an emerald, bin one side, get our painter in, bring our red. I love this system. It's so easy to work with. And that's layer 1. And layer 2 is 3/4 of a square. So we do have a full to 3/4. We need a square. And the other quarter that we're missing is a quarter circle. So we'll get our quarter destroyer and bring our circle. Just like that. Now the hole for this will be in the top right. So we need to move the hole this way, which is a counterclockwise rotation. And the shape for this will be in the bottom right. So we need to move it to the top right. This is a 180-degree rotation. Once the rotations are done, we can simply stack these shapes back up in any order. And now we have our layers. Now we can bring the top layer over here. Bring the bottom layer over here. And that should be our shape. Where's our train station? I don't think we need 10 billion trains anymore. I think maybe 4 would be adequate. Now that we have more train capacity. I don't know if 4 is adequate. I don't really care. As long as my shapes are processing at a reasonable speed, then I'm happy. The final shape thing will probably be maybe out here somewhere. So we'll just grab that belt over there. And then we'll run a new line all the way down over here somewhere. And we can now delete this line. And everything should be happy. Alright, both these shapes are going. I'm just going to go back to milestone 4 to make sure all of these are coming out at maximum speed, which it looks like it is. Bottom level's fine, second level's fine, third level's fine, fantastic. And on this side, top level's fine. Middle level looks fine, bottom level looks fine. Okay, so all of that works, my new painter works, everything works, fantastic. Here, we probably need to reset one of our trains to just make it go a little bit faster and offset it a little bit, because I can see it's full right now and there's no trains anywhere. God knows where my other trains are. We can also just add a couple more trains if we really want it to go faster, just for more milestone points. Why not? It doesn't cost us anything. We got 1500 platform units. That shape is going, that shape is going. So we're basically just chilling now. Or we can make a new staging area. But given how far everything is, or how far the emeralds are, I don't know if I want to make a new staging area. What we can do is just start processing the next part of this shape. So back off to staging 1, let's do this shape. The bottom 2 layers remain the same. The next layer is this circle. Okay, so we can split the circle over here, paint half of it red, and we got another red star. So basically it's exactly the same process as before, kind of, but with circles this time. So we want to full to 2 halves a circle. Our circle belt is here. We'll go down and up. Now we've got our circle. Any particular order we want to do this in? I want to paint on this side. Like this. Then our top or underneath that is a red star. So we can half destroy a star, just like that. And we can paint that red. Like this. Then we just need to bring a band of red paint down somewhere central. Pop it back up. Half goes in here, half goes in here. Now we need to piece this shape back together. So our uncolored bit of the circle goes with the red star. So I'm going to put a stacker on my red star. Then I'm going to bring the uncolored bit of the circle over. So the circle's on the left and the star's on the right. That's perfect somehow. Going to bring it down, across, and back up. But my circle ideally needs to be at the top, which is a clockwise rotation at the end of this. Just like that. When that's done, we need to layer it all together. So this red circle is the top layer. Unfortunately, it's here, but that's fine. So to layer this together, we would put something like that. We can delete this. Bring that as this layer. This is the top layer. Then we'll do one more. This one's going to do a little bit of crisscrossy, but that's fine. We'll go down, across, and up. And that should get us that layer. And we should just put that in there. And that should be done. Nice and simple with this new setup. So we can see this is coming out correctly. And that, oh, this needs a rotation. It needs to be rotated down, so that's a counterclockwise rotation. And it needs to be on the south end. Yes, beautiful. So all of that should all merge correctly. Hopefully I've got that all layered correctly. That's the third layer, and then that's the top layer. Great. So that should theoretically be fine. Now I'm going to claim some more operator levels, and if we can get stuff, we will get like belt speed. We don't need to do it all together, because if we notice the upgrades now cost 50 each, where we can get faster belt speed, that'll just help us out, right? For all these space belt things. Now back at staging 2. Are we producing the right shape? That does not look like the right shape. This diagonal thing is coming out incorrectly. We need to give this a 90-degree rotation, because this top shape is not symmetrical, so it needs to be rotated correctly. That's fine. While we wait for that, we can start working on the next part of this shape as well. The bottom 2 layers don't look like they've changed. On top of that, we need a red crisscross thing, and then another half red circle. Can we use anything we've done? We're binning that. So if we just take a circle and diagonal it, we can take it with the thing we're binning over here and save ourselves a little bit of something. So we'll do that. Bring a circle. Then we will take this diagonal, which will be like that, paint it red, and mix it with this. So technically we should split, then paint this. Okay. So we've got to change the order of this, which I don't know if I want to do that right now, but we'll just do that. It's basically that. There we go. Now we're painting it first, and then we're doing this. And our circle is going to get split into diagonals. This is in the correct diagonal. This one is not, so we'll rotate it first, and we'll paint this red. So we'll get our painter over here, and we'll bring another belt of red down and up. And now we should be able to merge these. So I'm going to grab my stacker, and then we're going to bring this belt down, across, and up, just like that. That should get us our checkerboarded shape. And to that, we just need to merge onto that. So we can do the merge over here as well. But for now, let's just bin this. So this is ready for merging, but we just want to wait for a bit, because we haven't delivered this shape yet. Back to staging 1. Let's see if this is correct. Yeah, it's looking awfully like the correct shape to me. Might reset one of my trains. How do I know which train out of this stack of 4 trains is not carrying stuff? Well, it looks like all of them are not carrying stuff. So I can just reset one to like offset the train spawn time. I've got so much capacity now that this just carries everything. We can tell this is coming out at maximum speed, which is fantastic. And then we're just chilling for a bit. Alright, our milestone 4 shape is finally finished delivering, which allows us to unlock pin pushing. For those of you that don't know what pin pushing is, we will go through it very quickly. So basically, if you can see on this, it just puts a layer of pins underneath the shape and pushes the shape upwards. So it creates these very interesting and unique shapes. Then you can also pin push layers off the top, which I'm sure will come in handy later on when we do insane mode with crystalling and things like that. But I think we've done a lot this episode, so we might just leave it here and we will continue on and build our Milestone 5 factory next episode. If you don't want to miss out on that, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.